Viewer discretion is advised. The following story contains distressing material and explores real events. Some killers try to hide their crimes, others crave attention. In April 1988, an 8-year-old girl named April Marie Tinsley was taken off the streets of Fort Wayne, Indiana. She never made it home, but this was only the beginning of a nightmare. For 3 decades, her killer haunted the community, leaving notes, threatening children, and taunting police. This is the story of April Tinsley, the abduction, the horrifying messages, and the investigation that finally brought justice 30 years later. Good Friday, April 1st, 1988. 8-year-old April Tinsley was walking home from a friend's house in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was a familiar route. She was a happy child, loved by her family and known in the neighborhood. But April never came back. When her family reported her missing, the community mobilized, searching yards, woods, ditches. 3 days later, her body was discovered in a ditch near Spencerville, about 20 miles from her home. She had been assaulted and strangled. Investigators collected DNA from her body, rare in 1988, but the technology of the time couldn't identify the killer. 2 years later, in 1990, a local farmer reported graffiti scrawled on a barn near where April's body had been found. The words, written crudely in pencil, were chilling. "I kill 8-year-old April Marie Tinsley. I will kill again." The spelling was wrong. The tone was taunting. It was a boast, carved into wood, the killer claiming April and promising more. For years, nothing. Investigators chased leads, questioned suspects, collected tips, but without DNA matches or witnesses, the case grew cold. The community tried to move forward, but the shadow lingered. Parents warned their children. Rumors spread. Everyone knew April's killer was still out there. Then, after more than a decade of silence, the killer struck again, not with violence, but with words. In 2004, children in Fort Wayne found notes left inside plastic baggies, often alongside used or crude Polaroid photos. At least 4 separate notes appeared that year. One read, "Hi honey, I've been watching you. I am the same person that kidnapped April Tinsley. You are my next victim." Another threatened, "If you don't report this to police, I will blow up your house." Others included hand-scrawled confessions, taunts, and threats. Each time, the DNA matched the original crime scene from 1988. It was him. This was not just a killer. This was someone who wanted to remind the community, "I am still here, I am watching, and I can strike again." The FBI built a behavioral profile. They believed the killer was a man in his 40s or 50s, local, socially isolated, with a history of deviance. He would blend in, but live close enough to follow the case obsessively. Despite the DNA and the handwriting, no one fit. The notes stopped, and the case once again went cold. By the late 2000s, science caught up. Investigators turned to a new weapon, forensic genealogy. They uploaded the killer's DNA profile into public genealogy databases like GEDmatch. By connecting distant relatives, they built out family trees, and the branches narrowed to one man, John D. Miller, a 59-year-old factory worker living quietly in Grabble, Indiana, not far from where April had been taken. Police placed Miller under surveillance. In July 2018, they collected his trash. Inside, used the DNA matched April's case. When questioned, Miller confessed immediately. He admitted abducting April, assaulting her, strangling her, and dumping her body in 1988. 3 decades later, justice had a name. John Miller was sentenced to 80 years in prison. April's family and the Fort Wayne community finally had an answer. But April's case is more than just a solved crime. It became one of the earliest demonstrations of how forensic genealogy could catch killers long thought untouchable. The same technique soon caught the Golden State Killer and dozens of other predators. April Marie Tinsley was only 8 years old. Her life was stolen, her memory haunted by a killer who refused to be silent. But in the end, science and persistence caught him, and April's story continues to bring justice to others. April Marie Tinsley, 1980 to 1988, never forgotten.